Greetings, DF! Exclamation point. Assuming a Switch 2 release at the first half of 2025, and given the amount of games that Nintendo announced on this Direct, even going as far as to 2025 with Metroid Prime 4, which might be a launch title, do you think there are still unannounced first-party games that will make it to the Switch 2 launch window? Which ones would you expect to see? John?
Given the timings,
Mario,
I don't think that... I think Mario is what we might see.
Yeah.
I think Mario has a
right.
good potential. That feels like something they want. I mean, last time they went with Zelda Breath of the Wild, but they could do Tears of the Kingdom again on there, but it wouldn't have the same impact. I think having a new Mario at launch would be a big deal. And we haven't seen a new real 3D Mario in a while. And last time Odyssey was a release year game was 2017. It just came out later in the year. But if they could actually get something like that ready for launch, I think that would be gigantic for them. It would move a ton of units than anything else.
Yeah.
No way they have a big Zelda ready. I mean, they'll have the new Zelda game, which looks amazing, but it's not like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom caliber. And obviously they don't have that next one even close to ready. That'll be years. So yeah, I'm going with Mario.
Okay. Alex, I think they've got to actually have games to showcase for the reveal of the system that aren't cross-gen in nature, that aren't, because I'm sure there are going to be games like Metroid Prime 4 that will launch on both, similar to the way that Breath of the Wild did back in the day. But you've got to have a slate of exciting new games that you can't really play on the original Switch as well.
I think that's going to be it. John, I think, is really right on the money with Mario, since we haven't seen it in a while, and I think they could probably do something there that just wouldn't run on Switch 1. Specifically in regards to like storage and storage speed, I think they could get away with things there for a Mario game that would be very compelling. And they could probably design an entire, I always say gimmick, but they could probably design an entire gimmick around the storage speeds for Mario game. You can just envision that. I also think they're gonna to spice things up. I think we're gonna see third-party ports that we just are like, whoa, that's running on Switch 2. And I think that's gonna excite people, because you're gonna start
Jedi
seeing
Survivor, baby.
Jedi Survivor Switch 2. You heard it here first on DF Direct. No, I think we'll see something really cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to think of a lot of games they could announce for that. But, I think that's another realm of exciting things that they could put out on the system that would make people want to get it day one. Just really AAA games running on the handheld.
I mean, if you go back to Switch 1, they had obviously Breath of the Wild and games like ARMS. But I think for this time around, I mean, for the launch of Switch 1, they had the luxury of basically, Wii U wasn't particularly successful, right? So they could almost go into Switch with a clean slate. But going into Switch 2, they've also got Switch 1 around, which is still hugely popular. They really need to, show games that are a generation beyond that. So I do think there is going to be like cross-gen upgrades. I wouldn't be surprised if, going back to stuff like Mario Wonder and whatnot, they'll get upgrades to run on the new system. And I guess Metroid Prime, you would expect that it to be a cross-gen launch, but they've actually got to push harder. They've got to have a lineup of really fresh, exciting games that just make you want to upgrade. And I think that's the challenge for them. And I think that's possibly one of the reasons why it was pushed back into 2025, because every sort of indication we've had from Nintendo has been that they're kind of rather concerned about how they're going to handle this generational transition, and they've got to get it right. So, I mean, I can't really name specific titles because, we don't know what they are and we can only really guess. But I think a Mario game would obviously be
If I can throw up a guess here, I'm going to say that maybe, just maybe, knowing how good their partnership is, we'll see a new Shinen game as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
From the guys that did The Tourist, Fast RMX, all that. They did The Tourist, The Punch Win. That was a while ago. That was a small project. They got to have something cooking.
Yeah.
And it would be awesome to see that at the Switch 2 launch, because it will push the hardware really far.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they do.
And Alex is right. Expect the floodgates to open with a bunch of PS4/PS5 games, which, you wouldn't have been able to play on Switch 1. There's a whole host of amazing games that could be delivered there. Spruce them up a bit, add some new content perhaps, but, they'll still do really, really well.
Hear me out. GTA 5.
Right.
Launch.
Oh my god. Honestly,
Launch
but
day.
actually, we haven't seen Red Dead Redemption 2 update to the current gen, so maybe that would be a thing.
Oh wait, they did
Rockstar-
Red Dead 1 on Switch, so maybe they're teeing this up for this little Red Dead 2 at
Maybe.
launch.
and then with a current gen re-release, Rockstar
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
their BS. So
They love
I
their
would expect
BS. Okay.
that.
They do
their
love
BS.
Broadcast satellites. They do.